The artwork for Anime Podcasters is provided by GoProkyo. Please go follow him at GoProkyo. Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new Anime Podcasters episode. A brand new setup on my computer. I hope this is working. I have an amazing host with me today, an amazing guest. We have HotShot from Daydreamer Studios. How's it going, buddy?
It's going just fine. How are you, good sir?
I am very good, a good avatar, sir. Oh, wait, did I just spoil what we're talking about?
Come on, Jaden, you had one job, and that was not to do that.
HotShot and I have come to the same conclusion. Yes, but also, I have a question for you. What are the 4 elements you need for an amazing podcast?
Me, you, sound, and airbending.
Air, fire, water, and earthbending are the 4 elements you need for a perfect Avatar podcast. We're going to be talking about Avatar today. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. We have so many things to get to. I recently just finished this anime, and yes, I'm calling it an anime. It's really weird. The Last Airbender looks like an anime, sounds like an anime, is animated like an anime in my mind, but just because it's not from...
But it's not an anime.
Yeah, but just because it's not from Japan, it's not an anime. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, and now we have Ruby that is now an official anime, even though it was totally made here.
And here means the United States for you guys.
Here means the U.S.
Yes. I'm very excited to talk about this anime. I want to get your thoughts here, HotShot. How did you get into this anime when you first came across it? What were your first thoughts on it? How did you get introduced to it and everything?
The only weird part about all this is that I got introduced to it by channel surfing. So just had a controller in my hand, just like went from Cartoon Network to Disney to Nickelodeon, because when I was a kid, only those shows existed.
Right.
And I came across, I hit Nickelodeon one time, and the first thing I see is this girl in a really fluffy blue coat trying to bash open an iceberg with a spear or with a staff. But it was when she was trying to break the iceberg with her brother's staff. I see what you mean. Yeah. For me, what happened is that I'm from Canada, and we had this channel called Youth TV. This was back in the cable era of things. And on Saturday mornings, there was this series called Crunch. And it was hosted by this guy with a wacky blonde hair called AJ. I don't want to get too off track. But the first time I came across Avatar was the episode where Aang and Katara kissed in the lover's cave, and the light was fading and everything. And I was so confused because I saw this happening on a Saturday morning kids show. I was like, what? But this isn't like something you usually see on a Saturday morning kids show. You don't see like characters kissing in like a romance like this. And it really like just caught me by surprise. So I tuned in next week, and then I got hooked right away. This was a great anime. Now I don't know if you have this over in Canada, but that sounds like something that you would usually find like on Adult Swim, not on a Saturday morning not on a Saturday morning kids show. Right. When it was first coming out. I know, and you know what? It caught me at the right time, I think. It was like, you know what? I always come at these random moments. Like, the first episode of Naruto I ever saw was the one with 8 Gate Sleep versus Gaara. I was like, what? What is this? Like, well, I mean, that just instantly got you hooked, at least. Then. Yeah. I mean, if it's not kissing, it's punching. Actually, I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents on first episode of Naruto real quick, just because I can. I think the first episode I ever saw was in the Forest of Death, where they were going up against the Sound Ninja. Ah, good times. Anyhow, that's not what this podcast is about. No. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Legend of Aang here, and all the characters and all the arcs. We got some audience questions to go through. I think we got to start off the podcast talking about this character. Aang is a great main character. A great foundation to what an avatar is, and his entire storyline where he grows and learns how to master water bending and earth bending and fire bending, and how he gets his ragtag team of fellows, Sokka, Katara, Toph, and everything. The whole storyline is so beautiful, and I loved it so much because we really see these characters go through a huge metamorphosis. I absolutely loved Aang as a character. What were your thoughts on Aang? Aang is my favorite character. If I'm being completely just flat out honest with you, Aang is my favorite character in the show. Why is that? Because he's this goofball character. He's the carefree hero. He's the I'm gonna do what's right because it's right kind of guy. He's not the huh, so I'm the Avatar, so I'm supposed to do all this. No, even if he wasn't the Avatar, even if he was just airbending, seeing people in trouble, he'd still be helping. He'd still be out there doing what's right and doing what he needs to, and still have fun doing it.
Definitely.
Whether he's the Avatar, or whether he's an Earthbender, or whether he's just throwing a rock at somebody, he would still be out there fighting the good fight.
Oh, that's for sure. I completely agree with that. We're 100%. I really what I like a lot about Aang also is how he's super like really nice, good-hearted character and everything, very easygoing. But like he has these trigger moments where like he goes into the Avatar state or he gets really mad. And one to note is when they were at this was in the Water book and they were still learning no, this was in the Book of Earth if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember specifically what moment, but it was when Katara. It was when Katara got like thrown into the like just sinking into the earth because this one particular like war chief wanted really to Aang go into the Avatar state to take out the Fire Nation. He's like, right now we need to go into the Avatar state right now, or else like Katara dies. You know what I mean? And then that triggers. Aang.
And then he just makes Katara disappear, and then Aang just totally loses everything.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I like about Aang, in a sense that, like, very nice, but, like, if you poke around that neighborhood, you're gonna get hit.
He's like a Captain America for a while, but then you take him off, and then he's the Hulk's worst nightmare.
Why do you say he's like Captain America?
Because Cap is basically the do-gooder of the team, just like the always fight the good fight kind of guy. He's not the goofy kind of character that Aang is. But he's the one who, like, always stays on the right and stays, like, if I can avoid trouble, I'd rather avoid trouble kind of character.
I see what you mean. I want to ask you this, because we mentioned the Avatar state. What was your thoughts on when Aang meets the Guru and starts going through all his chakras to unlock them, and how this chakra is blocked by this, blah, blah, blah. And he gets to the very last chakra, and he decides to... the Guru tells him, you have to let go of love. You have to let go of your feelings. You have to let go of Katara. And he decides not to let go of Katara and go back to Boston State to save Katara because he has this vision of her being trapped. What was your thoughts on that whole debacle?
If he was that's just your hero stereotype. Like, even when a hero is supposed to be going through a rigorous training for some form or another, like with Aang's case, it would be going into the Avatar state. With Luke's case from Star Wars, it would be in the case of mastering the Force.
Right.
But when it comes to Aang, I can actually see it happening, mainly because you've seen all the adventures that he's had with Katara. You've seen all the adventures he's had with Sokka. And he still can't let all of that go just because... Okay, so all of that you've spent the past half a year to develop, to build, and to have... with this person, I want you to give all that up. Just give it up. Just out the window. Just
let it go.
Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
It won't bother you anymore.
But it did bother him.
It did bother him. It bothered him a lot.
Yeah.
So I can totally see Aang just straight up leaving because of it. So that didn't bother me. The part that did bother me was when he was right next to her and she was in danger, and he did the training himself and tried to let her go. Okay. That bothered me a little bit.
I see what you're saying here. I loved Aang also. Just I guess obviously he's the Avatar, but like his fight against Fire Lord Ozai, where he really like goes all out and he like there's like water spinning around him. He has this ball of air, there's fire around him. He has these rocks going around him. Like, it's just such a cool fight. I love the action in Avatar. There's so many good fights, and there's these really cool slow-mo moments where, like, I don't know, like Zuko's fire bending, and then like this shot of fire is coming towards him, and it goes into slow-mo, and he dodges it, and then we go right back into the fight scenes. Like that, I love that so much when it comes to Avatar.
I mean, if you're a fan of Avatar, it's hard not to love those scenes.
Yeah. I love the action. Do you love the action in Avatar? Is that a good selling point of the anime for you?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, if the action doesn't sell me, I mean, at least like the jokes and the characters themselves would, but the action, whenever they actually do get into a fight, Yes, I love it. I love seeing fireballs go everywhere. I love seeing Aang's air blast go everywhere. I love Katara's water whip attack. I love all of the fighting. All the fighting in Avatar's best fighting.
Yes. Talking about jokes, I think this is a good jumping point to introduce our next character, Sokka. My personal favorite character is a very, very, very funny character. The only character in the bunch that doesn't have any sort of bending. And there's definitely an episode where we see that affect him a lot, and we'll get to that point. I love Sokka so much just because he's a good role model, I think, and he is a good balance into the Avatar group. Very serious, people when it comes to taking down the enemy and everything, but Sokka throws in those jokes that are really funny. Something I love about Sokka is when they go to the play of themselves to go see the Avatar play, and then he takes the Sokka actor aside. He's like, "Oh, here, I got a couple of lines for you these are gonna be great." And then the Sokka actor's like, "Oh my god, these are really good. I'm gonna use these." What are your thoughts on Sokka?
I love Sokka. Honestly, if you ask me my thoughts on any character in Avatar, odds are I'm going to say I love them.
Except for Azula.
I love Azula.
What?
We'll get to her in a minute, but
okay.
For right now, Sokka, I love Sokka. He's funny. He's the odd one out. He's the one who actually, I'm not going to say the others don't have to try, but he's the one who has to try harder because he can't bend, so he has to do all the battle strategy and use his weapons, and if he loses his weapons he has to find something else, and he always does it with a joke, even if it's just a really, really, really bad joke.
I loved when him and Toph were on those Fire Nation ships, and then he uses his sword to take out he throws his sword at one of the Fire Nation people, and then the sword goes flying, and he's like,
"Bye, space sword!" Yeah.
I love that so much. Oh, it got me laughing so hard.
Okay, so for a bonus for Sokka, I want you to do me a favor.
Oh god.
What's your favorite Sokka moment, and what's your favorite Sokka joke?
Favorite Sokka moment? There's so many good ones. When he throws his boomerang at Combustion Man and right in the face, and it just completely what? I don't even know what happened. And another one I loved, it was during a training scene between him, Aang, and basically everyone was training Aang, and Sokka just has his sword, his boomerang. He's running towards Aang, and he yells out, "Sneak attack!" And obviously, Aang just earth bends and he knocks off Sokka. He's like, "Sokka, if you're gonna do a sneak attack, you shouldn't yell out sneak attack." He's like, "Oh, that's a good point."
It's yeah, probably not.
That definitely that's what I love the most about Sokka in those questions.
There's two of my favorite Sokka moments that immediately come to mind.
What are they?
One of them is it's right after they lose Appa, and so when Aang finds out, he gets super upset, especially at Toph, and goes off on his own, but Toph, Katara, and Sokka are all walking the other way.
Oh, and when he's hallucinating and stuff?
Yeah, after he drank the cactus juice and is just losing his mind.
That was the best.
Then a few minutes later, Aang just gets so fed up with looking, slams his staff into the ground, making a giant dust cloud that looks like a marshmallow. Or mushroom.
Like a mushroom.
And Sokka just looks over. It's a giant mushroom.
Oh, I remember
that. It's friendly.
I love Sokka.
I honestly, thank God when I saw it, my dad had it either on Netflix or on demand, and we actually had to pause it because I was laughing my butt off so hard. I was just losing my mind. The other one that comes to mind is when Aang is first trying to get Toph to actually teach him how to earthbend.
Yeah.
And then Sokka's looking for meat, for any source of meat.
Oh,
and falls into and he falls into the hole and is just stuck there throughout the entire episode.
And he's at the end Aang he's I love to earthbend you out of there, but I'm just not comfortable with it. And Sokka's like, "Oh, well, the last thing I would want you to is to make you feel uncomfortable." And he's crushed under rocks.
Last thing I want is for you to be uncomfortable. Aang, look at me.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I love Sokka, but I want to jump to Sokka's sister. Obviously, him and Katara find Aang, and Katara and Aang develop feelings for each other throughout the anime. And Katara is a very motherly.
Well, it doesn't take Aang long to develop feelings for Katara. The second he sees her, he's like, "Girl."
Yeah, I know, right. But like, what I loved a lot about Katara is how she never gives up and how she's very caring. And specifically, one thing I loved about Katara's character is how she at first when Zuko moves in the gang to teach Aang firebending and everything, like everyone gains are like, okay, we trust you, Zuko, and everything, and she's like, I don't trust you whatsoever, Zuko. And then they go on that adventure to find the person who basically took out Katara's mother, and she's like ready to take him out, but then she decides not to and everything. And we just see a completely different side of her, and I love that episode so much. And I really feel like we got to know a whole new layer to Katara.
Well, I mean, it's not just Katara that we get that with, though. We get, like, each character has their own specific episode where we actually develop and see deeper into the character. Like, we actually spend more time with that specific character.
No, I agree with that. I mean, there's obviously the prison arc where Zuko and Sokka go together to go see if his father is there after their invasion plan with the moon and everything fails.
That's honestly really weird to me. Just like the episode where it's just Zuko and Katara throughout the entire thing, just having an adventure together. I'm just like, this just feels so weird to me.
Well, like, I mean, Zuko has knowledge on where the he's like, tell me what they look like, tell me what the sign on that flag. He's like, okay, that's the Navy SEAL or something, whatever. And then he's able, like, he knows the Fire Nation very well, so that's why, like, it's like I remember like Toph being like, when's my turn to go on a trip with Zuzu or like with Zuko? Because like one episode it's like Sokka goes, and then the other episode there was Aang going, and then it was one episode it was Katara going. Like they all had like their own private Zuko trip.
And it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, it like actually helps develop like his commitment and his relationship with the actual team. Yeah, that he's been trying for probably like 3 years now to actually kill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, when you, as a viewer, are seeing all this go down, like, the villain throughout the entire show, and is now the friend of everybody, it takes you a minute, not because it's so weird or so bad, because it's probably one of the best parts of the show, right, but because you don't really see it coming. Like, even throughout the entire, the Book of Earth, where Zuko and Iroh are just in Ba Sing Se, like, living their own personal lives, even when, like, after all that, you never see Zuko actually going and looking for the Avatar group in order to actually be with them.
Mm-hmm.
You would never actually see it coming, and I love that. I love it a lot.
Absolutely great, great storyline and everything. Moving on to Zuko. What are your thoughts on Zuko, like, as a character? Obviously, he starts out as a very evil, like, capture the Avatar, and the only thing he wants to do is capture the Avatar. This guy just, like, breathes, like, and sleeps and eats, capturing Aang. And then, obviously, like, it's a complete 180 at the end where, like, he teaches Aang how to firebend. Like, what are your thoughts on, like, Zuko and his development?
Zuko, for me, is, like, the definition of a character who gets better the more you see them. Because when I first saw Zuko, I didn't really like him. I didn't really care for him. Not because he was evil, but because he was just so focused on just getting the Avatar.
My honor.
I'm just like, oh my god, please just shut up.
Honor.
It's like the seagull from Finding Nemo. Honor.
Yeah,
honor.
I know, right?
Honor. Oh no. Anyway,
even the play makes fun of it. He's like, for my honor. I was like, oh yeah, they nailed Zuko.
Yeah, they totally did. But and the funny thing is, I think Zuko was with the team at the time, wasn't he? When they all saw the Avatar play.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was.
And that's actually really funny.
It's hilarious.
With Zuko though, like, I started liking him more after I actually saw, like, his father was the one who gave him the scar in the first place, and why. Yeah. And then when he started his entire character arc in in Ba Sing Se in the Earth book, I started liking him even more. And then when he actually came up with Aang and actually joined, that's when I started loving Zuko. That's when I'm like, yes.
I mean, my favorite Zuko is definitely Book of Fire Zuko. Just because like he really comes full circle, and we even see him face his father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was great. I want to jump back to a specific point in time in Avatar when Azula goes to meet with Iroh and Zuko, and she says, "Oh, father's changed his mind, blah blah blah. He wants you to come back." And so they're getting on the ship, and then like the ship captain says, "All right, so we have the prisoners. The guests, right?" And then like Azula's like, "Oh my god, you just like ruined it." And so Iroh and Zuko like fight, and they run off and end up going to Ba Sing Se, the whole tea shop thing. What were your thoughts? Like, what was your thought on like that entire like plot line?
I loved it because it gave them reason to do something else, because I had a very strong feeling that even though he was trying so hard to get something else,
right?
Like, he was trying so hard to get the Avatar because he's like, my father will welcome me, my father will welcome me, my father will welcome me. To get confirmation that, like, you're wanted as criminals, it gives them total reason to do, like, just totally abandon it, just do whatever. And I loved it. I just loved them not having to be tied down to just getting the Avatar, and then at the end the Fire Lord betrays him, because I'm like, he's gonna totally just shoot them in the back.
Yeah,
he's gonna get the Avatar, kill him, or keep him as prisoner, and then just either kick them out or kill them.
Talking about Iroh, I really love that character, and I want to talk about a specific moment where like he goes against kind of like everything he taught Zuko, and I want to get your thoughts on this. So. Okay. First of all, Iroh, obviously very wise character, always guiding Zuko, do this, do that, do this, do that, and like not forcefully, but like just giving him like the peace of mind and the great great advice. And we even see Zuko like imitating his uncle towards in the Book of Fire. He's like, "Oh, what would my uncle say right now?" And then he like says something to Sokka, and Sokka's like, "That made no sense whatsoever, Zuko." But specifically, what I wanted to mention was when Zuko and Iroh were going to go into Ba Sing Se, and Jet was there, and it was right after the boat. They got off the boat, and they did that whole thing where they captured the captain's food and everything. And Iroh orders a tea, and the tea's really cold, so he fire bends a little bit just to get some tea, his tea warmer. And Zuko sees that, and he's like, "What the hell? Like, why would you do that?" And like slaps it out of Iroh's hands. And Jet spots it, and then Jet's like, "100%, those guys are firebenders." What were your thoughts? I mean, that was so stupid of Iroh to do.
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with like another question. Do you really think? Do you really think that Iroh would do something like that without a reason, or Iroh would do anything without a reason?
Okay, why? What was his reason to do that? I think he would do it without a reason. He's like, "Oh, my tea's cold. I love the warm tea." Yeah, I think he would, to answer your question. But what would be the reason to warm up his tea and firebend in front of all these people? It's stupid. It's stupid. It's completely stupid.
Because don't they get caught after that, or don't they like get suspicious of them after that?
Yeah, Jet is like 100% on them, like everything. And then he breaks into the tea shop. He's like, "Those guys are firebenders." And then like Zuko like takes like swords, and they start fighting against the Jet. And Jet gets captured by the Ba Sing Se police and everything, and they put him in that room. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with Ba Sing Se, and there's like that spinning thing around their like around him. Like, that was such a creepy thing.
They may as well just like, they hypnotized him, but it didn't last long, because I think like 3 episodes later they just killed him off.
Yeah, I was so sad when he killed off Jet. I love Jet. What did you think about Jet?
I don't like Jet.
Okay, so we can disagree on something. I love Jet so much because he's a good leader. Obviously, he's a bit misguided at the beginning and doing that whole thing where he wants to blow up the village, and there's like innocent people in that village. Katara and Aang try to stop it and everything. Yeah. But I think he comes into being a very helping hand, and I mean, he's able to guide the freedom fighters and help them out in the whole Avatar, The Last Airbender. So I actually really enjoyed Jet for those reasons.
Okay, and the reason I don't like Jet is, well, actually, there are a couple things about Jet I do like. I knew it. I do like how loyal he is to the freedom fighters, and I like how he's taking charge and taking care of all of them. Right. What I don't like is how for lack of a better term, ruthless he is against the Fire Nation, because, I mean, if he's that ruthless, then he's really no better than they are. But
okay.
the main reason I really don't like him is because of how insistent he is on, I want to be with Katara. And just like, I mean, even if Aang and Katara weren't a real thing, the way that he's portraying that he has feelings for Katara, I'm just like, dude, no. She will kill you. I will kill you. Sokka will kill you. It's just like, no, it's just uncomfortable at times.
Okay, I see what you mean.
I mean, really, if I get down to it, if we took away what he and Katara had, or what he felt for Katara, I would honestly really, really like Jet. But that just urges me so badly that I can't really say that I like him. Because whenever he's around Katara, it seems to come up.
Fair enough. I want to talk about Toph.
You want to talk about Toph?
I mean, it's Toph. She's a tough girl. No,
oh, come on. No. Bad jokes are my department.
I'm sorry.
Get out. This may be your podcast, but get out.
She literally gets taught by Badger Moles to earthbend. She's 6 years old, and Badger Moles teach her how to earthbend. And her whole thing where she's blind, but she learns how to like earthbend and see with her feet and everything was such a cool thing. I could never have thought something as cool as that. I really like Toph also because she's like very like she. It's not because she's a girl that she can't like hang with the guys and be just as I'm sorry, I'm gonna use the word just as tough. You know what I mean? And like she's just such a badass. I loved her so much. You know what I loved a moment I really liked is when that drill is going through the Ba Sing Se wall and she uses her earth bending to like clog up all the water that's coming out of the back after they sliced open all those like pillars, and then like it just blows up.
And then and then they all just slide out the back in like this just gross sludgy water.
I know, right?
I loved it. I loved that scene. I loved that entire fight.
Oh, same. I absolutely loved it.
One of my favorite characters in the show was in that fight, but we'll get to her after we get to Toph.
Yeah, so your thoughts on Toph?
Again, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm probably going to say I love blank so often in the show, and Toph is no exception. I love Toph. She's just this, like, grudgy, like, badass, like, don't mess with me, tough kind of girl. Even though she had, like, this really, really Richie and preppy uprising of just, like, she's too fragile, she's too hurt, and, like, treated like a princess. But when we first see her, she's a champion in a underground boxing or fighting arena in earthbending. And she's champion.
I know, right? And
if that doesn't tell you how badass this character is, I really can't tell you what does.
I mean, I'll take a step further of how badass she is. She literally inventing a type of bending. She invented metal bending. Like, that's no joke. She's like locked into that metal, like I guess like what, box, and then like she's getting taken away and everything, and then she's like the guy says you'll never be able to bend metal, and then she's like, oh, just watch me, and then like she bends metal. Like she bends
she
metal.
actually does it, yeah.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And like another thing I loved is like when Sokka's always telling her, I'm so happy you are a part of the team. Like she could tell if people are lying, and like she just is a super strong character, and I'm so happy she joined the ranks.
Though, let me explain something to you. You do know why she was able to metal bend in the first place, right?
No, please clarify that for me.
She was able to metal bend in the first place because metal still has like remnants of earth in it. So yeah, she was metal bending, but she was practically just earth bending the particles in the metal in order to actually move the metal. I mean, she can still metal bend any metal now because she knows how to do it. But when she was beating on the cage, the only reason why it wasn't moving right away was because... So you remember right before she burst the door open, right?
Right.
When she hit the door, you saw the shockwave and you saw like the earth particles in it, like the small amounts of earth. That's what she was bending. That's why she was able to tear open the door and like was able to freely bend metal afterwards.
That's just crazy. Do you want to talk about jump into like the different types of bending, because we have to go through them. We have to.
Yeah, I feel like we have to too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, let's start with earthbending, I guess. I really, really like earthbending. Obviously. What I really enjoyed about earthbending is the fighting style of it. Like, obviously, it's super diverse. And it's like super rigid attacks or super like flexible attacks. And I also really like just how like another a specific technique that I really enjoy is like when they raise the earth specifically where a person is just to send them off flying. That's a really cool move. Lifting up rocks, compressing rocks. Obviously, like they make that sword like with like the rock compression and everything. And just like using earth armor, like I absolutely love earth bending for like it's just so versatile. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though, if I'm being totally honest with you, earthbending is actually my least favorite bending.
Why is it your least favorite?
It's my least favorite because I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like something that has to be raw power in order to actually do well. Even when Toph is training Aang in order to earthbend, she flat out says you have to be straight on forward and forceful with whatever you want bending. You are in control. You decide what happens. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like that kind of thing. I mean, I love earthbending. When earthbending happens, I love seeing it. I just don't love how it's done.
Okay. I don't know. I really love earthbending, and I'm going through like I'm trying to remember like all the different techniques. There's so many earthbending techniques that are so cool.
Oh, like, there is one that Aang does, like when he's fighting Azula at the end of book 2.
Which one is it that you really loved?
It's his crystal armor.
Yes, the crystal armor is really cool.
Just like when Azula's coming at him, I believe she's lightning bending. She could just be bending her blue flames. But charging at Aang, and then Aang just charges back at her after putting on like a suit made entirely of diamonds. It doesn't last long because when they clash, it shatters, but it just looks so cool, and it just looks like... It actually reminds me of Diamond Head from Ben 10.
Oh my god, that's a major throwback. Wow, I did not expect a Ben 10 reference in the Avatar podcast.
Who knows? Maybe a hint for another one?
I'm reading through the wiki here, and I'm seeing this thing, this earthbending technique. I didn't come across in the anime. Magnetization. So skilled earthbenders are capable of magnetizing their limbs to any type of stone, making wall scaling simpler in an appropriate circumstance. Apparently, the Dai Li agents could perform this move.
The Dai Li, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Dai Li, eh?
But there's one earthbending technique that really only Aang and Toph can do that I just love.
What is it?
That's the sensory thing that Toph does in order to earthbend in the first place.
Oh, like how she sees?
Yeah. And Aang actually was able to master that too, because that's how Toph taught him. Was he has to feel the earth and actually feel the vibrations in the earth in order to actually do it well. Something like that to have to go along with bending makes it all the more powerful, because you have to actually feel what you're bending instead of just like, oh hey, here's a random puff of air, poof. You have to actually feel and have a connection to what you're bending with earthbending.
Yeah, like how they sense like the vibrations throughout the ground, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the Legend of Korra, like Toph it's like a super old lady, but she can basically feel like everything on planet Earth or something like that. Like she can just like her seismic sense is so good that it's like she can basically see everything like on the entire planet, right? Or
yeah, I mean I haven't seen enough of Agent of Korra or Legend of Korra. Hell, I haven't actually seen Toph in it yet. But from what I have heard or from what I've seen in like clips, she is like, even though as powerful as she was with Aang, she is like 100 times more powerful, but also 100 times more laid back.
Right. But the thing is, like, when you think about the seismic sense, like the biggest disadvantage it has is like if you're not touching any sort of earth, like if you're like I don't know wood or like something like that's not anything that's not like has any sort of earth in it, you can't use it, right?
Right. I mean,
so
like we
that's
talked
a
about crystals.
Huge disadvantage.
We talked about crystals and we talked about steel. but for a lot of earthbenders, they can't earthbend steel or metal, so a lot of the prisons for earthbenders are on a boat. Or
Right.
Or on somewhere where they can't earthbend or demoralize. Just like where a prisoner for waterbenders would be like just in an enclosed space on dry land, like in a desert. Speaking of waterbending, shall we?
I actually wanted to go through the two subgenres of because there's also metal bend. Well, I think we talked about metal bending, but there's this thing called lava bending, which I found to be very, very cool. I want to talk about it very quickly.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So lava bending is literally how it sounds. It's very rare. I saw Bolin use it in the Legend of Korra, and I'm pretty sure one of the avatars used lava bending. It was Avatar Kyoshi. It was like when she rolls the lava to separate the two islands together, and then like use airbending to push away from it. Like lava bending obviously is very deadly, very like hot, and like if you lava bend and throw lava on someone, like they're done. Absolutely love lava bending because it takes out your opponent at all. And I saw like there's like even lava bending shuriken, and like it's a very cool, like very rare but very cool type of bending.
But here's the question: would lava bending like just be earthbending, or would it be a mix of fire and earthbending?
That's a good question. I think it's strictly earth-based earthbending. I know what like the whole heat thing. I'm trying to like see. It started from Kyoshi, and obviously she's an avatar, so she could use firebending. But Bolin in the Legend of Korra can't do any sort of firebending, and he does lava bending. So it's an untapped theory. Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about that at some point too.
Sure.
At some point.
So waterbending.
It can cut stuff. Waterbending is not my favorite, but I very, very, very much like it.
So you prefer it over earth?
I do prefer it over earthbending, but it's not my favorite. It's probably my third out of the three bendings. But with waterbending, so there's something that Katara can do and something that Aang can do, and I'm pretty sure all of waterbenders can do it at this point. That Jet actually taught them. Even though he's not a bender, he still taught them how to do this.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, he taught them how to bend water that they couldn't see. So water in the air, water in their breath, water in steam. And it's just like, we can't see the water, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. And there's even one scene where, like 20 minutes after Jet teaches them how to do it, Katara uses that exact same trick to use her breath, the water in her breath, to freeze him to a tree.
Yeah. All right. I absolutely love waterbending also because you can like obviously you can compress rocks, stuff like that with earthbending, but like waterbending, you can shape this thing into whatever the hell you want, and like there's all these ice moves that are really cool. Like I remember like there was like ice spikes, there's an ice stone, ice drills, icing up the floor. Another one that was really cool is like when they have Katara uses that bubble around Appa, and so Appa can like breathe underwater. That's really cool. Or like one that I absolutely loved is when Katara did that ice prison against Azula, and then like she streams around in it, and it is able to like basically handcuff Azula. And
yeah,
then
it's
game over.
It's like a cheaper version of Crystal Ice Mirrors.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll get
in a small sense, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one scene with waterbending that I really like, though. I mean, it took a lot of work, but it was when Sokka, Katara, and Aang were all in the giant drill, and they started using the water in order to actually slice through the steel that was holding up the entire drill.
Yes.
And then just had like Aang Aang was the one to actually take it down. But when they were actually just going back and forth and actually were able to cut stuff with just water, it was just awesome.
I guess I gotta mention this waterbending technique because I see it a lot and it's really cool. The water cloak that Katara uses, like she basically wraps herself around water and extends her arms with water and everything. Like she basically becomes like a water beast a little bit. That was a really cool waterbending technique too.
Yeah, another really cool one is one that actually has almost an entire episode dedicated to Katara learning is the water whip.
The water whip, yes. When isn't that when she steals that water scroll?
Yeah, it's when she steals the waterbending scroll from the pirates, and then she's just consumed by the scroll. Because Aang's like, "Hey, I need to learn how to waterbend too," but Katara's like, "No, these are real moves from real masters. You'll get your turn after I had mine."
Yeah,
and then
I know,
she just like comes completely consumed by mastering all the moves on it.
Oh man. I guess I want to talk about like the different like techniques that derive waterbending. Obviously, but this is my favorite type of bending. It's a subtype of bending, but it's still very cool. Blood bending.
Yeah.
It's a sub skill within waterbending, and it's like the deadliest technique in Avatar. I think this thing literally bends the blood in people's bodies, and that means that you can literally control their movements and It was really, really, really like insane. Bloodbending takes a big part into waterbending. There's an extra layer. There's like bloodbending, and then there's another type of bloodbending that's really cool. And so it's super powerful. Like you can not take out any enemy with it. It's so powerful, and Katara's obviously a very good-willed person and everything, and she doesn't want to use it because it's just so dark.
Bloodbending, like, if you say you had like 5 extremely talented bloodbenders, right, going up against an army, theoretically, like, if you just bloodbend, like, for their necks to snap, you could, like, take control of the entire battlefield in a matter of instants. So in a war, I would totally use bloodbending.
Yeah.
But for an everyday fight, no. Because nobody should have that much power.
Right. Another technique derived from waterbending is healing. Obviously, very useful. You can heal physical wounds and illnesses and everything. And the spirit water that Katara uses is obviously derived from that. The water. So water healing was another very cool waterbending technique. Anything on healing, HotShot?
Healing, yeah, because there is actually one major part in healing that I want to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's when they first reach the North Pole, and when the master who starts to train Aang finds out that Katara is a fighter instead of a healer.
Yeah.
Because apparently in the North Pole, all waterbenders that are women are healers, and the men are fighters. I'm just like, okay, we actually kind of needed a story like this in Avatar, because I mean, it's a story that's needed everywhere, and especially when it's done right, it leaves a masterful impact. But healing, even of itself, when you're able to just heal something from water, or with water, anything from a scrape to a really bad, like almost fatal wound with water, it's just incredible. Like, even when you talk about the ending for Book 2, when Katara uses the spirit water.
Yeah.
You can probably say, like, I don't know if this is 100% true, but you can probably say that water actually brought Aang back to life.
I mean, it definitely. I think, yeah, it heals any wound. I mean, she was even contemplating using it on Zuko's wound.
Yeah, but I'm glad she used it on Aang, because it's like, well, apparently this water can heal death. Who knew?
Basically, another type of bending that comes into water, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but there's also spirit bending, which was really cool. You use water bending to manipulate, purify spirits and everything. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's Korra stuff. I don't know if you watched it yet.
Spirit bending I know very little about, but I do know a little bit, mainly because I played the Korra game.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, like, what it is at its core, or how she actually learned it, or how she actually is able to do it. The only thing I know is that she's able to use that in the spirit world.
Yeah. Well, there's more to it, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll hold off on that, because I haven't gotten there yet.
Fire bending.
Haha, yes.
Your favorite type of bending is firebending. I know it.
My favorite type of firebending is firebending.
Your favorite type of firebending is firebending.
No, my favorite type of firebending is blue firebending.
Azula firebending.
Yeah.
I absolutely love firebending as well. What I really enjoyed about firebending is the way it was explained by Iroh that, water you can stop, or no, a rock you can stop bending, wind you can stop bending. If you shoot a flame and it burns, it keeps on burning and burning. So manipulating it becomes much more difficult, and it's a very, very destructive type of bending. I mean, only
because it's the only thing that you're bending that's alive. Like, fire has a life to it.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoy firebending because of all of the different nuances it has. Like, there's a fire, like the fire bombs, fire circles, fire daggers. I mean, shooting like just heaps, large streams of fire. I mean, there's so much you can do. And obviously, you cannot forget the amazing dancing dragon.
I do know what you're talking about, but I really want you to talk about it.
I mean, okay. Well, give me your thoughts on the firebending, and then we'll go into the dancing dragon.
Well, like we just went over, firebending is my favorite type of bending, be it the blue firebending, regular firebending, odd firebending. It's just, firebending is awesome. Even one technique that Iroh does that earned him the name the Dragon of the West, when he actually breathes fire like a dragon. It's just like, firebending, you actually have absolutely no idea where it could actually come from. Sure, there's your standard, like, jab, 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 kick, and whip firebending, but there's so much more techniques that you can do with firebending than a lot of other bendings. And there's one I want to get to, but after you talk about the dancing dragon.
Yeah, dancing dragon is basically, it's a, I guess, like, not a, yeah, it's a dance. It's a traditional firebending form, and it was practiced by the Sun Warriors. And basically, they're the origin. Like, they learn firebending. These are the people who learn firebending from the dragons. And so Zuko and Aang, there's an episode where they come across the Sun Warriors, and they have to do this dance and everything. And like, it's absolutely hilarious. It's like kicks and punches, but like, it's like dancing. And like, Zuko's like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this right now.
It's like, this can't be happening.
What did you want to bring up about firebending?
Lightning bending.
Oh, okay. You want to jump into? Okay, yeah. Like, this is a subtype of
It's a subtype of firebending. You went over the subtypes of waterbending and earthbending. So let me go over the subtype of firebending.
Yeah, go ahead.
Firebending, when you use lightning bending, it literally will charge through like something of a superpowered spear. It will, if you hit somebody with it, it will literally go through them. If you hit an area with it, it will be obliterated. It is just pure destruction in a bending form. And it's actually what Azula uses in order to quote-unquote kill Aang at the end of Book 2.
Yeah. Something I really enjoyed about lightning bending was when Zuko redirected lightning bending at his own dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great moment.
And the only reason he was actually able to do it was thanks to Iroh. Thanks to Iroh actually teaching him how to do it. Because I mean, if the payoff for the risk pays off, then by all means go for it. But the risk is, if you're redirecting lightning bending, it's going through your arm, past both your lungs and your heart, out your other arm in one swift motion. If you miss one step or 1 millisecond of that motion, you're gone.
Exactly. And so basically, this is what we call lightning redirection, and lightning redirection is its own type of its own subtype of firebending. Obviously, generating lightning is a whole thing, but like being able to redirect it. I mean, not only do you need to know how to generate lightning, but you also need to learn how to redirect it. And obviously, it's a high risk thing. Did you want to talk about the final subtype of firebending?
The final subtype?
Yeah, there's also this is from one of your favorite characters. Think about it. It's one of the bad guys. He can do this. Combustion Man.
I don't like Combustion Man.
Okay, well, we'll talk about this very briefly. There's combustion bending, which I thought was really, really cool. It's basically like a telekinetic fire bending, and you channel your chi, basically like obviously like energy in Avatar is called chi. That's why we have chi blockers and everything. And Combustion Man basically concentrates like his chi in his forehead and then it becomes superheated, and he fires that, and that's like combustion bending is what is basically the idea with that, and
Okay,
it's obviously very powerful.
I actually didn't know that was a bending. I just thought that was an ability he had, was just fire a giant laser that destroys everything from his forehead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that too, but as I'm looking through the wiki here, combustion bending is its own thing.
Huh, that's actually... learn something new every day, even on something that you're a really big fan of.
Right. All right. I mean, we got to talk about the final bending here.
Airbending.
All right, take it away.
Airbending is first of all, airbending is one of my favorite bendings. It's a very, very, very close second to firebending. But with airbending, it's just pure movement. There's nothing involving power. There's nothing involving overwhelming your opponent. It's just speed, angles, like getting the exact kind of hit, getting the exact kind of area with it. It's just awesome. Especially one thing that Aang does with his air scooter. And it's just it's just him making a giant ball of air and just riding it wherever he wants to go. It's just awesome. Or another awesome thing that he does with it is airbenders, not just Aang, but airbenders in general, tend to be a lot faster, tend to be a lot more agile, because they can use the bending that they're using in order to project themselves more forward, like when they're running, or they can push themselves off the ground higher, so they jump higher. They're able to move because that's the kind of movement that their bending requires. Right. And then they're able to just like send a giant wall of air that will literally blow you off of a mountain.
Oh, I love this. I love this bending so much. And Aang, like, just the way, you know, what was one of my favorite air bendings? I got to talk about this specific technique.
Go
the
for
air
it.
Funnel. When like they just like when Aang creates this little super like this like air vortex, and then they put rocks through it and just shoots back rocks at all the Fire Nation.
Oh yeah, before he's able to earthbend.
Yeah,
he just makes the funnel and just like water. It's like a homemade earthbend.
Yeah. And like obviously the whole like agility increase is awesome. I loved airbending so much.
Yeah, airbending is, I mean, I love firebending, but airbending is a very, very, very close second. Like, if it had one more thing up on fire, I would have loved it more than fire.
I mean, I'm looking here, and there's these Avatar level airbending, like only skills, airbending skills the Avatar has. Apparently, like producing tornadoes and hurricanes. It's just insane. And there's like, or the air sphere, literally like you put yourself in an air sphere and you're basically flying at that point.
There's one like the air tornado or air twister that you were talking about. He uses that against Boomy.
Yeah, he does. I remember that. Oh man, HotShot. I'm looking at this, and there are actually 2 subtypes of airbending.
There's 2 subtypes? I didn't even know there was one subtype. What's the subtype?
I mean, either. I thought this thing didn't have any sort of subtypes. The first one is flight. There's actually some characters. I'm not gonna like spoil who they are or anything, but there's some characters that can
actually fly.
Yeah,
huh. Yeah. That like aren't Appa or Momo or
no, human characters. Human characters. They unlock the secret to weightlessness, and this allows them to fly and hover and everything. And it's absolutely insane when you think about it. Flight, literal flight.
That's like, I mean, I know that Appa flies and Momo flies and Aang technically glides. I didn't know that there was a character that could actually fly.
Yeah. I'm looking at this and it's just crazy. And then the other type is called spiritual projection. And it's something that only airbenders can do, apparently. And basically, it reads here. I'll just read it real quick. A complex technique that requires a heightened sense of spirituality, allowing one spirit to move through the physical realm in an intangible form, unbound by a corporal body. So you basically we see Aang do this actually. Remember, like when he goes into spirit world, that he's actually doing spiritual projection, and that's what only airbenders can do.
Spiritual projection?
Yeah. When Aang, remember when Aang like leaves his spirit leaves his body a couple times in Avatar, he's doing a subtype of airbending there called spiritual projection.
So even though that's just him going into the spirit world?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading right here.
Huh. But wait, when he's in that form, he can't bend at all.
Yeah, I know. It's it's I don't know. That's what I'm reading right here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, airbending might have just taken up the space for firebending.
So yeah, I think we should get to the questions.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. So this one is from @MPM official. Asks, or just says, like it's a demand, favorite main cast member and why?
My favorite cast member is Sokka. Absolutely. Okay. And why Sokka is because Sokka is very, very funny, and Sokka doesn't need any type of bending. He becomes a sword master in one episode, and he's very honest as well. He literally reveals to his sword master, "I'm actually from the Water Tribe. I'm not Fire Nation." And then they go into that fight, and he really grows. And I mean, he keeps the group together with like his planning and everything, make sure oh, we're gonna be on this day and that. And like obviously he gets very nervous when he wants to explain like the invasion plan that they want to do and everything. And another notable moment to note is obviously going to the jail to rescue his father and everything. Great character.
And obviously every group in any show ever needs the class clown, which Sokka portrays so very well.
Oh my god, he does.
Like almost every single time he actually tells a joke, I'm either face palming or laughing my ass off.
Yeah. So what about you? Your favorite character?
My favorite main cast character, this may be an extreme cop-out, but it's actually just Aang. And that's because, like when we were talking about Aang earlier, he's the carefree child of the group, but he's also the most powerful and most, like, I guess you could say hero-esque vibe to him. Because like I said, he always does the right thing no matter what. Even if he had no bending, he would do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And protect his friends to the bitter end. Like, when he saw Katara get totally just disappear, like when we were talking about the general making her disappear to make him go into the Avatar state.
Yeah.
When he saw that, it didn't take any time for him to go into the Avatar state. She was just gone and his eyes just turned white. Mm-hmm. Aang is just like, he's the Avatar, so, and he's the main character, yeah, so if he's my favorite character, oh well, but he's just so much fun to actually be around. Like, even though the world is always the world is almost always in trouble in Avatar, he's always there to have fun. I mean, the first thing he says to Katara when she wakes him up is, "Want to go penguin sledding?"
I know, right? I mean, he's so carefree. I love Aang for that reason.
Yeah, Aang is awesome when it comes to stuff like that.
All right, next question is from @R_Windrunner, and he asks, who's the best female character and why is it Azula? I mean, I actually dislike Azula, to be honest. Azula was just too insane, and like, I mean, a perfect example of like why I really didn't like Azula was that whole scene where like she's trying to flirt with that guy at the party, and he's like laughing about like everything he's saying. Like, he's saying the dumbest thing. She's like, so funny, when it's really not funny. And then like they kiss, and she's like, "No, we're gonna rule the world and create an army and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh my god, you have no social skills." Really don't.
Wasn't she also like drunk at that point?
I don't think so.
I mean, I know she wasn't, but it would just make everything make so much more sense.
I don't know. What do you think about Azula, real quick?
I honestly love Azula. Like, even so, when she starts as like more of this regal, like, I'm better than you kind of character, and usually characters like that I don't like.
But she maintains that the entire time.
Not the entire time.
Why do you say that?
For most of the series, she does, but not the entire time. And the reason why I say that is because if you remember the final fight between her and Katara and Zuko,
right?
She still has that motive going in, like she's the new Fire Lord, so she is better than everybody. She has that mindset going in, but as the fight continues, she slowly slips into madness. She just goes totally insane.
Oh yeah, but she okay. Fair point, but I think she wasn't like. Remember when she was
insane to begin with. I will give you that.
Yeah, but like specifically when she was getting ready for her ceremony and everything, and she starts firing everyone. Like, she's eating like I forget what, like a grape or something, and there was like an extra I don't even know the word for it, like a grain of something in her grape, and she's like, "What the hell is this? I could have choked on this and died." Blah blah blah. You're fired. You're banished. Like what the hell?
You're banished. You're banished. You're banished. I know, but villains like that you tend to enjoy. Like, she actually reminds me a lot of the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how insane she is, like with the individual tiny little things. That it's just like her kingdom literally is just her kingdom. Like she is the only one in it, kind of thing.
No, I agree with that. I agree. I have to commend you and agree with that. Good point. Good point.
And she is also the first one that we actually see lightning bending come from.
Okay, that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, she's not the only one that does it, mind you, but she is the first one we see use it.
Right. I think we need to talk about Ty Lee and Mai if we're going to talk about Azula. We'll go back to questions.
All right, but there's one more thing I want to say on Azula though.
Yeah.
So it's the fight. It's one of the fights where she actually manages to beat Aang and everybody else, but I think that's because they're so tired. Right. And even when Zuko and Iroh are there, they aren't with the group yet, but they're still trying to get Avatar. She goes and acts like she's either gonna shoot Zuko or Aang, like with lightning bending.
Yeah.
Like she's either gonna take the Avatar and take Zuko's place, or just shoot Zuko regardless. And then she does a complete trick on everybody and shoots Iroh.
I know, I saw that. That was insane.
It's insane, but it's also the trip of a true villain. Like just.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really need to explain that one.
And she pulls a similar trick when she's fighting Zuko at the end, and she goes to hit Katara, and Zuko takes the hit.
Yeah, and then Katara just gets totally pissed.
And she just wrecks her.
Yeah, she just wrecks her shit. Anyway, so Ty Lee and Mai?
Yeah, let's start with Ty Lee. She brings a very, very cool element here. Well, real quick on her personality and everything. Obviously, being a part of the circus and everything, like we really see her at that beach where she like explains like her entire life and how it's really difficult for her, but she really manages to remain positive. And when you think about it, she's one of 7 identical sisters, which is just crazy. Like it's just I can't believe that. And she still manages to be like so happy go lucky. That was really something impressive, and you got to recognize that. But her chi blocking, like that's just so cool.
Her chi blocking is like if bending didn't exist and they were just using those as like fighting styles, but nothing like too major. Mm-hmm. Chi blocking would be my absolute favorite fighting style in the Avatar universe ever.
It's basically Gentle Fist.
It's basically, yeah, exactly. And Gentle Fist in Naruto is actually my favorite fighting style in Naruto.
Oh, okay.
Just taking away your opponent's ability to actually use their like supernatural powers or their supernatural abilities against you and totally take it away. Right. I love it. It's just like, how are you going to use it if I take it away from you? And Ty Lee is just like, she's like an embodiment of a very, very calm Harley Quinn. But like, so the Harley Quinn aspect being that like she's always carefree, always laughing, and always moving around in a circusy kind of way.
Yes.
But toned down to the point where she doesn't kill anybody. Like, I honestly think that Ty Lee doesn't kill anybody. Anyone she fights, she just knocks out. Mm-hmm. And then I think Azula ends up killing.
Right. I guess that really basically like gives all my thoughts on Ty Lee. For Mai, like I really liked Mai because of she was the complete opposite of Ty Lee, and so that little trio of Ty Lee, Mai, and Azula really works out for me.
Yeah, if Ty Lee is Harley Quinn, then Mai is Raven.
Good, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Definitely. Mai is very like I wouldn't say depressed, but like she just doesn't care. And she's just and obviously like fighting style wise, like what she just throws knives and stuff like that, but she's actually fairly strong. And what I really enjoyed about her is when Zuko's trying to escape from that jail and he locks her in that prison cell and she manages to get out. Like she defies Azula at the end, right? And she turns her back on Azula. I was like, okay, so there's more to this girl than being a follower. She's able to make her own decisions.
Yeah, and especially when she abandons Azula and just joins up with Zuko, her, I guess you could say childhood boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Because they may as well have just been together since childhood.
Right, basically. I like the little relationship that Zuko and Mai had.
But then there's something that never comes across, and it's always kind of bugged me about Avatar.
What?
We know that Zuko's gotten banished, and we know that he's been somewhat friends with Mai since they were were kids.
Yeah.
How did it affect Mai when he got banished?
Oh, I don't know. That's some theory crafting right there.
I've been watching a lot of game theory.
No, that's basically my thoughts on Mai. Anything else on Mai?
You got everything I had on Mai. I had everything you had on Title League. I think that's an even split.
All right. All right, let's do one more question, and then we'll call it close it off.
All right. So this is from @mystic_wolfpt. In your opinion, what is the most interesting moment in each arc?
I guess each book.
We'll split it into each book because that'll make it a lot easier on us.
Yeah.
If it's each arc, then we'll be here another 3 hours.
Okay. I'm gonna name mine real quick. Let's
go
see.
for it.
Book of Water, when Aang goes into that whole water monster and takes out the Navy ships. Absolutely insane. Love that. Book of Earth, you know what? I just love this one character. The Boulder is absolutely hilarious. And
the
then
Boulder takes shit from no one.
The Boulder. And finally, for the Book of Fire, it's got to be the final fight, right?
The final fight with Aang and the Fire Lord.
Yeah, and obviously, you know what? No, I'm gonna switch that. I'm not the final fight when Sokka and Toph work together to take out all those ships. That was absolutely insane. I love that. And overall, favorite moment, or just favorite, my cabbages. My cabbages are the best.
Cabbages.
I
love cabbages.
Oh, it's so hilarious. So funny. What? Oh my god.
Wasn't there one point in the show like where it switched from cabbages to something else, but then just went back to cabbages?
I don't know, but I remember in the Legend of Korra, like there's this thing called Cabbage Corp, and then like it gets destroyed, and then the guy goes, "My Cabbage Corporation."
Oh man, I gotta get there. I so gotta get there.
Oh, it was funny as hell.
All right, so
what about you?
When it comes to me, my favorite moment in Book of Water would probably have to be the North Pole fight.
Okay.
Where it's specifically the point where it's Aang like in a giant Godzilla style water creation, then just slashes all of the boats that are attacking.
Same as me, man. It's a great moment.
It's an awesome moment. You can't really go wrong with that one. Book of Earth, it would probably have to be
the Boulder. No,
it's not going to be the Boulder. It's probably the entire arc with probably the entire episode with Aang first learning how to do earthbending and Toph trying to toughen him up for it.
Right. And then
specifically with the Sokka side that we have in it.
Or Katara telling Toph he needs a more calm approach. He's like, okay, thanks, Mom. I'll keep that in mind. Come on, Taquitos, let's go.
And Book of Fire, I'm actually gonna have to say the Avatar play.
Oh yeah,
like
that's a good one.
Them responding to how everybody is reacting to them. Like, I do not speak like that, and then everyone else is just losing their minds. I love it. I had trouble breathing.
You know what's another great moment in the Book of Fire? Just real quick, when like Aang is like, oh, the eclipse is in 3 days, and he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's like punching a bush, and like everyone's like, go back to bed.
Just go to sleep.
And he like feels super unprepared for the Fire Lord, and he's like, Fire Lord was I am here to defeat you. He's like, how could you be prepared when you don't even have your pants? And then like Ryan's like, whoa, what happened to my pants? Oh, great moments.
Actually, real quick, I'm actually gonna have to retract my favorite moment from the Book of Water for something else.
What is it?
The Blue Spirit. The arrival of the Blue Spirit.
Oh, Zuko was amazing as the Blue Spirit. I love that.
Yeah. Breaking Aang out of prison, just slicing up dudes, fighting with Aang secretly. without any firebending. I loved him. I loved that. That episode.
You got to give it to Zuko. Great fighter.
Oh yeah, even when he doesn't have firebending, he's an awesome swordsman.
Yeah, definitely. Great tactician as well. No, just great character.
That actually could have been a cool episode, like Zuko sword training with Sokka.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. Damn, I wish that could have been a thing. All right,
no,
that
I'm happy
does
with
it.
what we got.
Yeah, that does it for the questions. Final thoughts on Avatar. Anything you want to mention? Last chance here, Hotshot.
The only thing that I want to mention is that Avatar as a whole it's not the perfect show, but it's pretty damn close.
Oh yeah.
Because almost all the characters that you see, you almost immediately fall in love with, and even the ones that you don't, you find one or two things to actually like about. The storylines actually make sense. The characters are unbelievable. The worlds and the animals in it are unbelievable. There's even one scene in like Ba Sing Se where I think they're in a party and Sokka's reading a poster that says, "Come see our live bear," and everyone is going like, "Bear platypus or bear bird?" No, just bear.
Oh,
and then
man.
Toph goes, "This place is weird." Just like jokes like that is just like, and it's just so awesome. It's just like Avatar is to me personally, it's almost the perfect show.
No, I have to agree with that. My final thoughts, things I think I need to mention real quick. Love Appa and Momo, great companions, great animals, everything. Flying bisons, lemurs, great animals. My final thoughts. I mean, I have to completely echo what Hotshot is saying here. This anime is absolutely incredible, and the thing is, we recorded the first podcast about this, and I hadn't seen this show in forever. I was like, "Oh, sure, yeah." And then we finished this podcast. I was like, "No, I want to rewatch this entire anime and make a podcast about it." That's how much I love this show. I binged all of Avatar before doing this podcast. I loved it so much, and just such a great anime. I mean, I already gave my thoughts here at this point. Like, amazing anime.
And I'm gonna have to agree. Like, even though technically not an anime, I can totally respect you for calling it anime, because it honestly doesn't bother me, because that's exactly what the show is. It's just a Western anime, and even if you show someone Avatar, and if there's ever a Japanese dub for it, and you just show it to them, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say that it's anime.
Agreed. All right. Let's do, I guess, or plug in your stuff.
All right, cool.
Hotshot, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me over at the Daydreamer Studios channel on YouTube. You can find me at Hotshot Ginger channel on YouTube. You can also find me on, I believe we're calling it Daydreamer Gaming on YouTube, and you can also find me in Daydreamers Dreamcasters with on YouTube. I'm everywhere on YouTube. There's like 4 places to find me on YouTube. You guys can go subscribe to like any one of those, and I'm at Caution Ginger on Twitter. And you guys can also find me in a couple episodes on JaianMusic's channel, where I'm also in another couple podcasts like this one.
Yeah. So go check out all of those podcasts too. I mean, what you can do if you don't want to miss a single episode of Anime Podcasters is subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, where you can also follow the SoundCloud channel for that, soundcloud.com/JaianMusic. For myself and all my musical ventures, you can subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/JaianMusic. I'm at JaianMusic on Twitter. Before I log off, I got to let you know about this. Please go check out at GoProkyo on Twitter. He does all of the artwork for Anime Podcasters for the JaianMusic YouTube channel. He's super talented, and he has incredibly affordable rates. It's just crazy for the quality you can get for the money you'll spend with this guy. It's so worth it. So please go check out GoProkyo. He's available for commission. Very easy to talk to. Very nice person. So please go check out GoProkyo. His artwork is absolutely perfect. Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Anime Podcasters, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
See you guys.